The World Cup is right around the corner, and with that, it usually comes with happiness, vibes, but for some people, it will be a misery if they don't perform. So this is why I'm picking my top 7 players under the most pressure in this 2026 World Cup. There is different criteria for every player I am going to mention, because some of them are great for their club, but some of them just don't do it for their nations. Others might have had one of the worst seasons they've ever had for the club. Some of them have not lived up to the expectations before this season started, with their transfer or with their expectations. So they have to follow up with a great World Cup under any circumstances. And that's why we're gonna start with Florian Wirtz. Florian Wirtz has left Leverkusen at the start of the season to join Liverpool for an astronomical fee of around 130 to 140 million euros, which is still to this day, I think, for the player he could be, and he was at Leverkusen, wasn't the worst fee you could have paid for this guy. When I saw him at Leverkusen, especially under Xabi Alonso, he developed into a monster, a second striker who can play off the left, right, middle. He can score goals, he can assist. He's critically underrated in pressing. He's technically gifted. He has everything a number 10 in this day and age could need. But as soon as he joined Liverpool, you could see something wasn't right. Even maybe, the whole atmosphere around Liverpool, the coach, Salah, now even Arne Slot leaving the club. The whole club has been in shambles, but you have no excuses to not perform better than you did at club level, especially when the whole Premier League is looking at you because of your price tag. Florian Wirtz has been an absolute disappointment. And let's be honest, guys, the country he's playing for is Germany. And what they have been in the last few World Cups has been an absolute disappointment. Since winning the tournament in 2014, they have been nothing but crash outs, failures, and now people genuinely talk about them like they can be dark horses. They are not even considered a, huge candidate. People talking about Germany, even if they make a big, a leap to the quarterfinal semis, it will be a dark horse run for Florian Wirtz and Germany. And there's some other players that can be, under pressure from this country as well, like Musiala for sure. But I've left them out because I think these injuries that Musiala had are just too crazy on the body, and I would be too crazy to be expecting him to get to it. When did he even come back? A month ago, 2 months ago? But Florian Wirtz has had an enormously bad season. And for Germany, in the past few years, what I have witnessed from him has not been bad. Usually for Germany, I remember him playing well. I remember that crazy goal against France, for example. I remember, once again, him on the ball is just so good to watch. He's so technically gifted, but he has to show it on the biggest of stages, and that is the World Cup. I think Germany can for sure make it out of their group and even, make a run maybe to the quarters. I don't see them going past the quarters though. But even if they do so, I expect Florian Wirtz to perform. If he doesn't, I think he's gonna be absolutely scrutinized. And next season, if he doesn't perform again, people are gonna start asking a question about this guy. Is he really worth the money? The next player is gonna be Christian Pulisic. And yes, I know, probably some of you are thinking, why do you even have this guy like USA? Who cares? But I am hearing all this stuff, how Christian Pulisic is a great player. He can be, a surprising player in this World Cup. He can have, a great impact for the USA. But when I watch Pulisic play, other than in the Serie A, and if you know my opinion on Serie A, and many people and many other content creators as well think that Serie A is not the greatest league to judge off these attacking players. Yeah, I wouldn't judge Pulisic, what he's doing for AC Milan, and it's not the greatest of, seasons that he had in the past couple of seasons for AC Milan as well. But USA seems to be looking absolutely inconsistent to the absolute max, because against Germany, they lose 2-1. They beat a strong side, in Senegal. But do you really trust them against Paraguay? I don't really know what to think of USA. Yes, they are at home, so they all have to perform. But their supposed to be best player and their, star player is going to be Christian Pulisic. So I am looking at him to perform to the standard that these USA football fans are, holding him up to. And I saw some AC Milan fans that, yes, Pulisic can be a decider for the USA, but how long is it going to work for? Like, how long can USA just be dependent on Pulisic? That's my opinion on the USA. But if he does it, fair enough. I see him being under a lot of pressure just because the World Cup is in the USA. But in my opinion, Pulisic is not gonna fare well with the pressure, because I don't think USA is gonna do that well. But hey, let me be wrong. I want you to prove me wrong, Pulisic. Let's move on to the third player. The third player is Ousmane Dembele, and please shout at me in the comments. Yes, he's a Ballon d'Or winner. He won this. He won 2 back-to-back UCLs. But if you remember, if you know ball, the last time this guy has been in a World Cup game, it was a World Cup final where he got substituted after 45 minutes of play, fouling an Argentina player to give Argentina the lead with a penalty which Messi scored, and playing one of the worst half of football I have ever seen from a player at his level. Since then, he has been absolutely crushing it for PSG, Ballon d'Or, and he can be even looking at a second Ballon d'Or if he wins the World Cup. Unfortunately, even though he hasn't played even 20 games in Ligue 1, that's unfortunately how it works, guys. He's going to be a contender, and that's why he's got under the most pressure. The France, people are going to be looking at Mbappe, of course. Olise, sure, he's the young one just coming into the team. Turkey, once again, young one. But if you're looking at somebody that's right now the best player and was the best player in the world last season, it's going to be Ousmane Dembele. If he doesn't perform for the French team, I genuinely think some fans will be onto him. These French, French fans are not just forgiving. If you don't give them a sensational World Cup after a Ballon d'Or season when everybody was pushing, Ousmane Ballon d'Or. I'm pretty sure we all remember that. You have to give something for your country as well. And I hope you do. I like you as a player. I think you're quality. But I have not seen it from you at international level, especially in the World Cup. Because that World Cup final against Argentina is still on my mind. I only remember Kiki, but at the back of my mind, I see Olivier Giroud and Ousmane Dembele. Don't worry. Because Camavinga came on as well. My boy. But yeah, Ousmane Dembele is definitely going to be under pressure. The fourth player might shock some people. And even though I don't rate Martin Odegaard, I think we can all speak from a point of view that what we have been seeing on social media, or if you're not watching too much content about, World Cup predictions, every time I watch a World Cup prediction, or, a dark horse prediction, it is Norway. Because they have such an attacking team. Such great players. Technically gifted players. But I'm looking at, of course, Haaland. But I just think Haaland has that pressure on him to score. And do I expect Haaland to score? For sure. But Martin Odegaard is genuinely being looked at as a complete bum at Arsenal right now. Some fans are considering selling him. By the way, if you didn't know, he is still their captain. He is the club captain at Arsenal, and he's performing like me if I was playing for Arsenal, guys. He is literally that bad. He's so inconsistently bad. And when he plays well, it's 1 or 2 games, which of course, I rate Odegaard on his best, but I just see too many inconsistencies in his game. And for Norway, you have a chance to prove yourself on the biggest of stages. But unfortunately for you, all the eyes are gonna be on you because everybody is saying you will go deep into the competition with Haaland, Nusa, you, and other players like Rierson. Overall, a quality team like Sander Berge even. And you have, in my opinion, you have a great coach too. From what I have seen, you can score goals on goals on goals. And in the midfield, you can keep the ball pretty well. I think you're not the worst pressing country, but that defense is going to be lacking. And it's on you to be the main voice in that midfield and be doing the best you can for your country. If you don't do that, if you're going to be a bum, if you're just going to give a 6, 7 out of 10 every game, that's not enough for your country at the World Cup. And I'm telling you, if you have a bad World Cup, I think Arsenal will be selling Martin Odegaard this summer. Anyways, let's move on to the fifth player, and it is going to be one of the Real Madrid boys, finally. Guys, if anybody is trying to tell you that this man is not under pressure, you're lying to yourself. Yes, he won the World Cup. Yes, he scored that hat-trick against Argentina. But imagine Mbappe gets knocked out versus Argentina. Imagine he gets knocked out against Brazil and Vinicius Jr. Imagine he gets knocked out by Lamine Yamal versus Spain. All the blame is going either on the champs or Kylian Mbappe. Nobody's gonna care about Doué or Lise, Turkey. They might care about Dembele still because he is the Ballon d'Or winner, so he will be in that conversation. But if Kylian Mbappe goes out and doesn't play well in this World Cup, especially, everybody is expecting this guy to score goals, probably be the top scorer, and maybe even win the World Cup, being the best player. That's his expectations because of the 2022 and 2018 World Cup, which I genuinely, I rate Mbappe so much in the World Cup. I think he's an absolute demon. In the World Cup, in my generation, at least, I have been watching football since 2010, and I don't really remember the 2010 World Cup. I just remember, watching the final and some of the biggest games, like Diego Forlan for Uruguay, something like that. But from 2018 onwards, he has been an absolute monster in the World Cup. Like the speed, the sheer terror in the defenders, how he cooks defenders, how he scores, and just absolutely no pressure felt in the biggest stage of them all, in a World Cup final against Lionel Messi's Argentina, scoring 2 penalties and a goal himself. By the way, the volley was absolutely nuts, and then scoring a penalty in the penalty shootout. He's already under pressure. He loves to be under pressure. But people telling me, yeah, no, he's not under pressure. There is more players. I still think Kylian Mbappe is looked at like the biggest bum of Real Madrid right now, especially by Madrid fans. And, people in the world are starting to look at Mbappe like, why is PSG suddenly winning the UCL? Why are you not winning at Real Madrid? You came to Real Madrid and suddenly they stop winning. You have to perform for France. And I think he will. I honestly think he will. His record for France is absolutely amazing. And the World Cup, I think genuinely he might get the World Cup golden ball for being the best player and the top scorer as well. He might even break the top scorer record of Miroslav Klose. Let's see what Mbappe does. But if you don't perform, I'm telling you, everybody is going to be on you. They already are. So watch out. The 6th player will actually be one of the biggest contenders for this year's Ballon d'Or. What a season this guy has had for Bayern Munich. Harold Kane! We all know how good he is in club football, especially in league competitions. In the UCL, yes, he did great, but they did get knocked out against PSG. Unfortunately for them, he did cook them. I honestly think he's one of the best quality players I have ever seen as a striker. He's so underrated still, in my opinion, in some people's eyes. But for me, on an international stage, and even in the biggest of stages, I am never gonna rate Harry Kane until he actually wins a UCL or a World Cup at the highest level with the highest strikers. I think ability is there, finishing is there, everything is there. Quality, technical, everything is there. It's there. He just has to win something. He won the Bundesliga, guys. Fair enough. Do you know how many players have won the Bundesliga? With worse teams, against better teams as well? Like Dortmund, Bayern had way more competition back in the day. And they lost to Bayern Leverkusen. Look at that league. I can't see Harry Kane being one of the top players without a single World Cup, Euros, and a UCL. He's that great. I am actually pissed off how bad he does in those biggest of stages. Because let me tell you that much. In 2022, if he scores that penalty against France, I genuinely think England goes through and they could have won that World Cup. They weren't even playing the best of footballs. I don't think they were, much better than France. But in that game, if they scored that 2-2, the momentum was going to be on their side. I think they would have scored another goal and they would have gone at least to the final. But Harry Kane, the biggest bottle of them all, that is your last game in the World Cup. And I'm going to be honest, I don't rate you on the international side at all. People can say what they want in 2018, 2022. Your goals, nice against Panama and Iran. Thank you. Thank you for those goals for sure. If I was English, I would thank you too. But how about you win something? How about you do it in the biggest of games? If you don't do it once again this season, it might not be, fully on you, because that squad picked by Thomas Tuchel is still crazy to me. For example, Trent not going, Lewis Hall not going, Harry Maguire not going, those players that you are supposed to take, in my opinion. But Harry Kane is going to be looked at as a for sure a player that is under pressure. I think the whole England squad can be under pressure, but Harry Kane is definitely under pressure. But if you perform and you maybe win, get to the final, be the top scorer, you have a huge chance of winning a Ballon d'Or. But let's see, guys. The last player is going to be somebody who should have had a Ballon d'Or to his name already. And of course, is the guy from Real Madrid. Before I get into him though, I just want to say, if you're still watching, please like, comment, subscribe. I'm just going to say an honorable mention for Cristiano Ronaldo. I don't think he's under crazy pressure, but please, if you play any games and those minutes that you are going to play for sure, because this manager just doesn't understand football, and in my opinion, Roberto Martinez is one of the worst international managers I've ever seen. Some of those Belgian knockout games are the worst tactical decisions I have ever seen from a coach, honestly. Now, he's going to glaze Ronaldo. He probably is going to play in most of the games. But I just hope when he plays, he performs well. Because, yes, Cristiano Ronaldo is, 41 years old now? He's still under pressure. Let's be honest, Messi fans, Barca fans, he's still going to be clowned. And I hope he performs. I just want to say this as an honorable mention. Let's get to the official last player of this list. And I think this is no surprise for anyone watching this video. Vinicius Jr., especially for this Brazilian team and for his whole Brazilian career that has been going on so far since he made that debut, he has not been performing up to standard. He has a huge advantage now in having one of the, probably, in my eyes, the best teams all around since 2014. I think Neymar had way worse teams in some of those campaigns. And before that, of course, they had Ronaldinho, Rivaldo, Ronaldo, R9. They had such much better teams. But these teams, for me, seems all around. They have a great coach. And they got that spirit and those vibes of Neymar going. I think Brazil should be 100% up for it. They have Endrick, Rafinha, Bruno Guimaraes. They have Marquinhos, Bremer on the bench, Gabriel starting. They have Ederson going, who's even going to be starting in goal. They have so much competition. They for sure can be lacking in those fullback positions. But if there is one guy that is being looked at in that Brazil team, it's not Endrick, it's not Rafinha. I don't think even it's Neymar, because is Neymar even going to play those games? If Neymar is on the pitch, of course, the focus shifts on him. But if Vinicius Jr. finally takes the game by the scruff of the neck and says, come on here, bro, I am winning this World Cup for my country, and I'm finally going to see how it feels to be celebrated. Not just for my club career, but for my national career as well. Because guys, if you look at his career, especially for Brazil in those national competitions, if we look at 2026 for Brazil, he has 4 matches played, 1 goal, 2 assists, which I think it's fine. But once again, this is the Carlo situation. In 2025, he had 4 matches, 1 goal, 1 assist. A little worse. From 23 to 2025, he had 11 matches played, 2 goals, 1 assist, 7, 2 goals, 1 assist, 3, 1, 1, 6, 1, 2, 7, 1, 0. He has never performed up to the level that he has been performing at Real Madrid before, all those things happened in the last 2 years. I don't even want to talk about Real Madrid at this point because I'm just so over it. But I hope Vinicius has a great World Cup. Everything we have gone through in the club, and the hate, and everybody, Rodri stealing a Ballon d'Or from you, you have a chance to shut up everybody. Because in what I have seen from you at the international stage, especially in a World Cup competition, which you have not been the greatest, not the worst as well, but I just can't get behind Copa America competitions from you, especially. Oh my goodness, this guy looks like a shadow of himself. That's why you're going to be under the most pressure. Brazilian and South Americans, especially, Barca fans, this guy, Real Madrid fans, we are going to be watching closely. Because Brazil, I think, is one of the most loved countries by even people that are not from Brazil. For example, I would love for Brazil to win the World Cup. Endrick, I just loved watching Brazil back in the day. I love Neymar. I think their country just represents good football. But Vinicius only represents that in his Real Madrid career, not for Brazil. And you have to change that in this World Cup. The most eyes in the World Cup is going to be this World Cup, and you have to perform. and you have a chance to have, you know, a great record in goals and assists, because there is so many more games in the World Cup as well. Let's just wait and see. Let's just wait and see. Honestly, I hope all of these guys perform, but I don't think it's possible. Some of these guys will be crumbling under the pressure. The biggest man under pressure for me is still gonna be Vinicius Jr. Let me know what you think about these players, and let me know who do you think is actually under pressure. Maybe the names that I have not mentioned, or maybe the names I have mentioned you don't agree with. Let me know down below, and I appreciate you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.